Hello mga ka-Nanay. So if you are watching this video, congratulations because most probably you are already part of this company. So welcome to Native Camp. Now, of course, every newbie's problem is how to have students. So especially if you are just new, of course, you don't have your ratings yet, your profile is or yourself is not yet established in this company. So you are finding it hard to get students. So in this video, I will tell you some tips or some useful tips on how to have more students. Okay, and so these are eight helpful tips on how to get more students here in Native Camp. So this is just based on my experience, and I will share it with you. Okay, so the first tip is, of course, you need to open more slots because the more slots that you open, then the more chances of having book or reservations. And when you open more slots, that means you can go on standby anytime. And the more that you go on standby, then the more chances of having a student per sudden lesson. So especially if you are just a newbie or if you just got hired, again, I want to tell you that on your first week of being here in Native Camp, starting from the day that your account has been activated, you have a red flag. So that means students are free. So they will not pay anything or they will not pay a certain amount of money to reserve classes for you. So of course the students will grab that and also grab that opportunity to have more reservations. Okay? So again, you need to open more slots. Unfortunately, before we can open slots as many as you can, just like what I said in my previous video. The schedule here in Native Camp is open 24/7, but yeah, I think two days ago it was already changed. So you are a teacher can only be allowed to open 24 slots in a day, so that means 12 hours, and which is, I think, fair enough. At least you can still rest. I think Native Camp is reminding every teacher to have a break, to rest, and not to overwork, and also to give more chance to other teachers, especially these days that we have this issue on coronavirus. Many are really working from home. So, and many teachers are trying their luck here in Native Camp. So, to give chances to others, yeah, I think that's the reason why Native Camp limited the number of slots that a teacher can open in a day. So, if you are a full-time teacher here, you can open 24 slots in a day. So, that means more chances of having um, students for book and sudden. And tip number two, of course, if you are going to open your slots, you need to have a regular schedule. Like, for example, if your schedule is from 7 p.m. to, for example, you're just a part-timer, like, just like me, I usually open my slots from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. So if you are going to open that in a day, be sure that you are consistent with that. Like, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. every day. So it's hard to open slots, like, for example, today it's 7 p.m., then tomorrow it's 7 a.m. So, the students are also looking for regular schedule, especially for those, especially if you want to have a regular student. So if this particular student know that you are available from 7 p.m. to 11, between 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. every day, then the more chances that they will book they will book a slot for you because they know your regular schedule. So anytime within that week, they can reserve a slot for you within that specific time. So be have a regular schedule. So it's also a bit confusing if you will have different schedules in a week. So on your part, it will also be a bit confusing. So there might there might come a time that you will not remember that, oh, I opened this slot today, so you might miss a book schedule. So it's very important to always have a regular schedule. Okay, and trip. And tip number three, so you have to request for badges. If you are just a newly hired teacher here and you haven't heard of this badge yet, you may send a message to the admin and request for a badge. Or you can directly click the link that I will put in the caption of this video. So that is the link for the quizzes that you have to take. After passing those quizzes, you will just send a message again to the admin using the inquiry tab asking for badges. So you can just say, hello, admin. Um, I am requesting for the badges to be put on my profile. Here are the scores of my quizzes. So if you will see here, here are actually the teaching material badges that I have in my own profile. So this will be seen in your in your exact profile, or in the exact profile that the students can see. So of course, if I am the student and you have these badges and you have a lot of textbooks to teach, and then, of course, if I am the student, I will book your class, or I will have a sudden lesson for you. Yeah. Here is Mav. Okay. There. So the more badges that you have, the more chances of having a student. Yes. Okay. So again, you just have to request for badges, which will be put in your profile that is being shown in the students. Okay, and tip number four, you have to make your profile more attractive. So the badges will actually make your profile attractive, like what I said in tip number three. But there are other ways on how to make your profile attractive. So if you are new again and you don't know how to edit your profile yet, just go to the account tab in your system or in the platform of Native Camp, and there you will see um, some information about you. So first, of course, self-introduction video is very important. So if you are not yet satisfied with your self-introduction video, you can make another one and upload a new video. So in that video, of course, you have to impress. You have to impress the students. So you need to speak naturally, you need to speak clearly so that the students will be really curious to have or to take lessons with you because they would think that you are really good. And of course, aside from that, your self-introduction in written form is very important also. And I just proved it when Tatay got hired because during his first 2 days, he didn't have any student for sudden lesson, and he didn't have reservations yet. But on his very first student, we learned that your profile is really being read by students. Why? Because this particular student decided to take a lesson with Tatay just because of his profile. What's written is in his profile is his favorite is manga and he loves anime. And this student also loves anime. So they have the same interest. So that made this student decide to take a lesson with Tatay. So it's very important. So you can put there all your hobbies, um, you think of some interests that would be the same as Japanese students. So yeah, just put everything there and just make sure that your interests are really interesting. So your hobbies, your dreams, your plans, your um, the things that make you busy these days. So these are some of the things that may be put in your profile. And also, you can put some pictures in the gallery. So there is a photo gallery also aside from your profile picture. So you can upload also pictures like travels because Japanese students, most Japanese students love different places, love traveling. So you can also upload there. For me personally, what I uploaded are some of our travels and also our family pictures, and of course, the cute pictures of Mav. So I think that would attract more adults like mothers, or maybe young adult who love traveling or who wants to visit the Philippines. So you just think of this when you are creating your profile. Do you think the student will book a lesson with me, or do you think the student will take a class with me just because of my profile? Make your profile more attractive and impressive. Tip number 5, you need to impress the students. So when I say impress the students here, it's different from impressing your students using your profile. This time, it's the actual student. Of course, you will be very excited when you have your first ever student, and you need to impress him right away. How will you impress the students? Of course, you just be yourself, just keep on smiling, praise the student, follow the lesson flow, and let the student think that you really know what you are doing. As long as you are following the flow and you will be able to do the lesson well with this student, then students will give you good ratings, and that's what we need. We want to receive 5-star ratings as much as possible, so we really need to please the students. Yes, there may be times that some students may be rude, some students may be difficult to deal with, but you just have to keep on smiling and pretend that everything is okay, because at the end of the lesson you wouldn't want to receive low rating, because that will be reflected also in your profile. So you just need to do your best. You need to do what the students want. If the student doesn't want to repeat after you, or if the student doesn't want to be corrected, and then you just have to let it be. Because again, I always say that you need to please the student. Although we cannot please everybody, but as long as you are doing your best to please this student, then there won't be any problem on smiling. Like for example, if you don't know, of course, there may be times that you don't know what to say, or you don't know the answer to a particular question of your student, then you just pretend, oh, I'm sorry. Can you say it again? But at the same time, while you're saying that, you're actually researching something about it. So don't ever tell your student that you do not know the answer. And don't ever say that you are wrong. So you can just always say, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I think this is the better answer because of this blah blah blah." So as much as possible, you always make the student think that you really know what you are saying and what you are doing. Then with that, that is already a good impression. Tip number 6, you need to familiarize yourself with the flow of all textbooks, especially when you have requested badges already, because these badges refer to every textbook that you will be teaching here, or that you will be using here in Native Camp. So if you are not familiar with the flow, you will be surprised. See, you will, especially when you go on standby for sudden lessons. If it's a book lesson, there's no problem because you can study that ahead of time. But if it is for a sudden lesson and you are not familiar with the flow of the textbook, you will really be surprised, and the student might notice that you don't know the flow of this particular lesson. So while you are on standby, especially if you are just new, because there might be there might come a time that you don't have students for sudden lessons. So use that time to familiarize yourself and to study every textbook here in Native Camp. So you just have to study the flow of the lesson. You don't need to go over every textbook or every lesson per textbook, but you just need to at least have an idea on how a particular lesson will be taught. Like for example, in 5-minute vocabulary, You have to familiarize yourself with the flow, that it should start with guessing of the word. Then you have to let the student guess the word using the pictures. So there are really sequences, and there are really different steps on how to teach a particular lesson. So if you do not know and you have no idea about this, so how can you impress the student that you know what you're doing if you yourself don't know how to teach this lesson? So again, spend time to read and to study every lesson. So you can just go to the teaching learning kit in your platform or in your account, so that you can have a glimpse of how a particular textbook is being taught. And tip number 7, have a support system. This is very important, especially if you are just newly hired. Because here in Native Camp, there are no trainings, there is no orientation. So you will just be by yourself once you get hired. So all the details about how is the rate, or how will you be paid, how will you go about this, how will you navigate the system, so there is no training, so you'll be on your own. And if you don't have a support system, if you don't have someone to ask about this, then you might be lost, you might really be lost. So have build your support system. And if you want, if you are just new here, I am very willing to help you. So you can join my group chat in Facebook. Just leave me a message, or you can actually send me a private message and just ask me anything about Native Camp, and I will do my best to answer your question and to help you. So yeah, this is very important because you might learn also from other teachers' experiences. And whenever you encounter a certain problem, you can easily ask someone to help you out. So because here in Native Camp, you can ask the admin, you can ask for but they usually reply the next day. So if it is an urgent problem that needs to be solved, so I don't think admin will help you. So yeah, it's very important that you have some teachers also here in Native Camp that you can talk to. You can ask, oh, what should I do with this? Did this happen to you? And you can also share similar experiences about Native Camp. So again, I am very much willing to welcome you in my support system. So just leave me a message or just comment down below. And the last tip that I can give you is be patient. Again, be patient, especially if you are just new. It might be really frustrating to wait for several hours just to have a sudden lesson. And it's also a bit frustrating when you don't have reservations after 3 days of being here in Native Camp. But again, just be patient. And think positive that you are just new. Um, Time will come that you will have your regular students. Time will come that you will have a lot of reservations. And time will come that once you go on standby, you will have a student right away. So again, you just have to be patient. You've come this far. You finished all the steps in your application process. You are already hired, so you just have to be patient. And while being patient, again, familiarize yourself with everything here in Native Camp, the system, the textbooks, the do's and don'ts, everything that you need to learn, so that when your first ever student comes, then you are really prepared and you can impress the student, and everything will be easier. And that's it. So thank you very much for watching this video. And if you have any question regarding Native Camp, again, I will be very willing to help you and to answer your questions. So just leave your comment down below. And also, you can reach me in my Facebook page, Nanayhood. Also in my Instagram account, nanayhood underscore maajane. And of course, here in my YouTube channel, Nanay Jane. So please, if you are not yet a subscriber, please do subscribe. Hit the bell button so that you will be notified. So again, thank you very much for those who are watching and supporting my YouTube channel, and also to those who are messaging me, thanking me how useful and how helpful my videos are. And I will try my best to have more videos about native camp to help teachers and aspiring teachers here in native camp. So again, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.